How's it going, everyone? Welcome and thank you for stopping in. Today we have an exciting video planned for you guys. We are going to be doing none other than a blade battle. Yes, we have first up the QSP Penguin Plus going up against the Divo Knife Stout. Neither of these have been in a blade battle previously. So I figured this one might be exciting. I wasn't sure. These two knives sit side by side in my case, and I was like, boy, I want to do a blade battle. And I'm always thinking, what are two knives that, I could put up against each other and it might be a good head-to-head matchup. And I thought this might be a very tough matchup for me to decide on, and these two knives going up against each other, I thought it might be a pretty good battle. So we'll go ahead and get right into the details here. So we have a blade battle, Penguin Plus versus the Divo Knife Stout. We have 11 categories as usual. We have materials first up, then all the way down through price, value, ergos, cutting, sounds, action, carry, fidget, aesthetics, and the tiebreaker is better work, better EDC knife. So we have 11 categories. The 11th category will be the tiebreaker, if there is one. As you can see, we have no score. Each category is worth 1 point if you win, 0 points if you lose. Let's go ahead and get started with materials, guys. So we'll go ahead and start with the QSP Penguin Plus. So this bad boy has a DLC coated 20 CV sheep's foot blade. You have copper infused carbon fiber show side here, a titanium frame. I think it's DLC'd or it's coated. It's a frame lock, titanium frame lock, and then you have your wire pocket clip back here. For the Divo Knives Stout, you have a black washed 20 CV sheep's foot blade. You have copper infused carbon fiber inlays with titanium bolsters. This one, we will not count this pocket clip, okay? This is an aftermarket pocket clip from Lynch Northwest. This knife comes with a wire pocket clip such as this one right here. So imagine this is a wire pocket clip, and that is how we are going to run it. So we have very similar materials, guys. Very, very similar. The only thing I'm going to say puts one ahead of the other. Can anyone guess it before I say? All right. There's another cue. The backspacer is not OEM'd like that. That's not an original part. That is an aftermarket backspacer. Typically it comes with a titanium backspacer. That is an aftermarket add-on as well. We are not going to count that, okay, guys? We do not count aftermarket parts in these battles. So let's get that out of the way first and foremost. So the pocket clip and the backspacer are voided out. We have a wire pocket clip here and a titanium backspacer here. So that takes care of that. So I'm ultimately, guys, going to give the material choice to the Stout because you have the bolster. You have both the carbon fiber on both sides, okay? So you're getting more copper infused carbon fiber. and the inlay work is just outstanding. But on top of that, you have this beautiful black washed coated bolster in titanium, and you have that beautiful bolster lock there. So I'm ultimately going to give the Divo Knives Stout 1 point, 0 points for the Penguin Plus. Next up is price. So the QSP Penguin Plus varies between about 175 and 200. That's a roundabout price for the Penguin Pluses. The Divo Knives Stout, although it cannot be bought right now, there is a version 2 coming. This knife retails for $300. So price is ultimately going to go to the Penguin Plus, guys. And there's a fine line. We can't get into it too much, but this is an OEM project. This is straight from the manufacturer. QSP OEM'd the Stout, so they are able to make their own knives, send it to retailers, and there's only 2 people involved. The Divo Knives Stout being an OEM project, you have the designers, you have the OEM, and then you have the retailer. So there's 3 players involved in that circle, only 2 with QSP. Although it is no fault of this knife, that is how it is going to end up, that the Penguin Plus is ultimately going to have very similar materials at a way better cost. That's just how it crumbles, guys. OEM projects are typically going to cost $50 to $100 more, depending on the whole situation. At least $50, if not up to $150 more than, QSP made this knife, they made this knife, same materials, but this one costs $100 more than this one. There's no difference in size, there's no difference in materials. The only difference is this was an OEM project with designers involved outside of QSP. So therefore, it's just how it goes. This knife is naturally going to cost more because there's more parties involved. So we have a 1-1 tie going into the 3rd round. Value is up next. So right off the rip, guys, the Stout is going to take this one. Value is, what's the knife worth after you buy it? What's the knife worth on the secondary? The QSP Penguin Plus is going to get, what it cost you. As long as we're talking new in box type of deal. The Penguin Plus is going to garner you back your money. The Divo Knives Stout, you are going to, it's going to have a higher value because you cannot buy this knife anymore. Now, I don't know that there's been much of a precedent set on the secondary for these guys. I got this, I pre-ordered it, and I haven't, looked into it. But I'm assuming that you would be able to get your money or more back on the Divo Knives Stout. So we're going to go into the 4th round with a 2-1 lead to the Stout. Next up, category 4 is the Ergos. So I can tell you right now, the way this handle design with that 50-50 choil is probably ultimately going to be the deciding factor for me. Although the QSP Penguin Plus has a very comfortable handle, very comfortable in hand, you can squeeze this guy, no problem. Because of that 50-50 choil, the way this neutral handle is, you have that back spacer back there, you have this poon to put your thumb in. This is buttery comfortable, guys. So Ergos are going to the Stout. So going into category 5, we have a 3-1 lead for the Divo knife stout. Next up is cutting. We are going to do some live cutting with each one, just so I can get a feel for how well they're cutting. Ooh, that's tough. That is tough. Let's try something else. Let's try a regular piece of paper. Three cuts. Oh, that's tough. I think I'm going to give it to the Stout by just the slimmest of margins. I was going to give it to the Penguin Plus initially, but this one I feel gets a better bite. So we're going to give it to the Stout. Next up is the sounds. So we have a 4-1 lead for the Stout going into category 6. Sounds is up. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Close. Open. Open. Close. Open. Close. The Penguin sounds better when it opens. The Stout sounds better when it closes. I'm going to give that one to the Penguin, guys, just by a smidge. So we have a 4-2 lead going into round 7. Round 7 is the action, guys. So I can tell you right now, they both have outstanding action. There's the Penguin Plus. Flies open with authority. Drops down to your nail. Nice hydraulic close. If you get your finger out of the way of that flipper tab, it's a 2-motion thing. It'll drop to your thumb and then a little close. That's tough. I think I'm going to give it to the Stout. The Stout just has that draw it, going home, coming home, baby. Yeah. It's very close. The Penguin Plus has that nice hydraulic close though, too. Nice and controlled and hydraulic feeling. You know, it's not sloppy. It's not sloppy, loose. We hate loose and sloppy. But that is controlled and just butter. There's nothing in the pivots on either of these. I'm giving it slightly, guys, to the Stout, okay? So we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 2 lead for the Stout, going into 8, which is carry. So they both are going to be very similar because we are treating this as a wire pocket clip, correct? All right. So look how deep the Penguin Plus is. That is almost completely flush. With the wire clip or this pocket clip, even either way, it does not matter. That is where it will end. You're going to have this much sticking out, okay? Not a big deal at all. Not even a little bit. Weight wise, I think the Penguin Plus is a little lighter than this guy. Also, the Penguin Plus is a little skinnier, you know, as far as your height goes. The overall, you have a little bit peeking out here for the Penguin Plus, but once you get to here, the Stout is a taller knife, so to speak. It is also a thicker knife. They are both about the same height. So because of the thickness, the weight, and the height, I'm going to give the better carry to the Penguin Plus. So next up is the fidget. Now this is where the Stout shines typically, right? You have that nice open hydraulic close, good access to that hole, and good access to that bolster. Very good fidget ability, but because the Penguin Plus not only has dual thumb studs, but it has a phenomenal flipper tab, guys. And you can push button it, light switch it, does not matter. Great access with the chamfer to that frame lock. Very, very good. You can thumb flick it, reverse flick it, all the flipper type motions. It's got that nice hydraulic close. This thing is an actual fidget monster. It's nice and thin, lighter in your hand. That flipper tab is just very good. The Stout is no slouch. It is a very good fidget knife, but the Plus just has that little notch up against it, and that, you know, that's the way it goes, guys. It's got that added flipper tab. Now, next up is aesthetics, and I don't think it matters. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I guess it does matter. 5 to 4 going into 10. So we have aesthetics up next, guys. And I'm going to, the aesthetics, I think, has to go to the Stout. You guys can agree or disagree. You have the nice, there's no branding. There's nothing on the blade. You have that nice poon going down into this nice nose. Very strong tip here. Nice neutral handle. But you have this nice 50-50 area here. You have this nice little ramp here. The cutout. Everything just flows very well together. Now, the Penguin Plus is no slouch. It's a very good looking knife. Very aesthetically pleasing. They are very similar in many ways. It's almost like this is the older brother to this knife in a sense, you know, in this schematic, you know, the way these two knives sit right now, you know, that's kind of what they remind me of. Or this is like the bigger, more muscular cousin over the Penguin Plus. I think just by, you know, if this is a 9.5, the Penguin Plus is a 9. And I'm going to give the notch to the Stout. And that is going to, you know, that's going to end it right there. 6-4. Does not matter about the work and EDC part, but we'll go ahead and do that part up. Better work, better EDC knife. Like I said, the Stout is the winner no matter what happens here. But this is an important category. So better work, better EDC knife. They're both sheep's foot blades. You know, they both are frame locks in a sense. This is a bolster lock, so it's a frame lock, but it's hidden here within the inlay basically. So they're both frame locks in a sense. Better work knife, better EDC knife. So for all the reasons of carry going to the Penguin Plus, I could see you giving it to this knife to be the better work knife, better EDC knife. It has that little thinner of a profile, little skinnier of a profile, carries a smidge deeper, but because of the cutting performance of this guy, because of that 50-50 choil, because of that thumb ramp, because of the spoon here, the poon, because of that swedge going down to the tip, making it ultra strong, I think I'm going to give it to the Stout. Just by, you know, the slimmest of margins. You know, and you could easily say the Penguin Plus could be the better work knife or EDC knife, but I think even with the little bit of added weight and thickness, the dimensions, I still think with that 50-50 choil, the way this blade is designed, I just think this is going to be the better user overall by just a smidge. So we'll go ahead and give it to the Divo Knives Stout. That was a pretty good battle in my opinion. The Penguin Plus held its own for the most part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 4. That's, you know, and one or so of the categories could have went to the Penguin Plus, maybe even 2. So it could have been a, you know, could have been a toss up. I think ultimately the Divo Knife Stout takes it at the end, even if you give the Penguin Plus, say, another point, you're still 6-5. So I think ultimately, you know, the Penguin Plus would ultimately lose to the Stout. You know, it could have easily been 6-5, but you know, I don't see where the Stout would lose. You know, it has, the materials could have been zeros, okay? We could have gave that a split, and that's where, you know, that's where that comes in. And even if we do that, guys, all that does is take us down to what? So it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 6-3. So I mean, it's still gonna go to the Stout. So that was a good battle in my opinion. I thought it could have been worse when I grabbed them both, knowing that the Stout cost a little more. You know, and this has nothing to do with Kev or Colin designing this knife. It's just about the knife. And if you disagree with anything that I came up with here, leave it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. Otherwise, guys, that'll be it for this blade battle. Another epic 25-minute battle. Give me a thumbs up if you're still here and you're not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button down below the video. I'd love to have you here. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.